Welcome everyone. I am Arushi Kulwal. I am the Bhopal chapter lead for Infosec Girls, and I welcome you all to the grand inauguration of our mentorship program. It is a combined initiative by Infosec Girls and Infosec Diversity, the motive of making it a combined initiative was to make this program more inclusive. Mentoring has been a big aspect in cybersecurity. I myself have, received so much support and guidance from my mentors. And wherever I am in cybersecurity, it's totally credited to my mentors. And we have this mentorship program, and wanted to start its first batch from the next week, and we received amazing response for our first initiative. We have 60 plus mentees and 30 plus mentors, and we are very lucky to have you all. So today we have the grand inauguration of our program, and we have three guests for us, and we will be having an insightful panel discussion moderated by Shivani about mentoring and about the cybersecurity field. And so I will not just take much more time and hand it over to Shivani. It's all yours.
Thank you, Arushi, for such a warm introduction to our program. And once again, I would like to introduce our guests to our viewers who are live. Today, we are joined by three leaders of their own respective field. We have been joined by Ravi Verma, who is Senior Manager at Dhruva. And we have Riaz with us, who is co-founder and CTO at Cloudal. We have Victor with us, who is Vice Chairman at Virtually Testing Foundation, and also the Senior Marketing Architect Security at VMware. So I welcome you all to the launch today. And I believe this would be a very insightful session for the mentors and the mentees too. And without further, let me start this discussion. It will be moderated by me, and we are free to put up our points whenever we need to. So I would like to understand what is the importance of mentoring, and what is the role it plays in shaping an individual career? What do you think, how mentoring improves a person and makes his or her professional journey smooth? Victor, would you like to take up this question?
Sure. Yeah. So I think mentoring itself, it starts with as a parent, and being a new dad, I can definitely tell you that we all need it. It's not just for mentees. It's not only for mentors. It's a two-way process for both of us. Selfishly, for us, for mentors, we get to talk to mentees. We get to actually understand what challenges they're having, and we answer them. For mentees, it's a relationship that they get to actually talk to someone who has been there. So just because we've been in the industry, we have an experience, doesn't mean we know it all. At the same time, what we have seen, the history, it definitely helps people to understand where we stand today, the mistakes we have made in the past, and how we can shape our future. So mentoring program itself, I think it starts at home already. Our parents are our mentors to begin with, as in a personal life. Then when it comes to our professional life, we choose our ideal. We look up to certain people, we follow them. We really look at what they're doing. Doesn't mean we are follow or we actually gonna walk exactly the same path. Doesn't mean that. It just gives us some ideas. Same goes for, again, in personal life, our parents, our family, or some ideal we look up to. Doesn't mean we're gonna follow their path, but it definitely gives us a bar to reach. It also kind of informs us in insightful information, informed decisions, if you will, about what can we do in our personal and professional. So I think mentoring starts at home already. We just don't realize it. We take it for granted. In professional career-wise, I think this definitely is an important aspect one should embrace. And again, for mentors, it's selfishly, it's very important because we get to talk to mentees and we get to understand what they're doing, because they are the future. They are the one shaping our future now, which we're going to be able to live into.
Rightly said, Victor. because we do not know it all. That is one point that I completely agree to. We need someone who is there with us to, guide us through, who can tell us this is the way. So would you like to add anything, Ravi, uh, Riaz?
Yeah, sure. I mean,
So yeah,
as Victor
okay.
said,
Go on.
sorry.
Yeah, go on. Go on.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah, as Victor said that, first of all, congrats, Victor, on becoming dad. And it's actually what he said is absolutely right. I mean, it starts from our home, and we don't realize, but we start learning from the day we are born, and our parents also start learning how to kind of handle the situations that we as newborn would bring in for them. And that exactly happens when we kind of sign up for a mentor mentee program, whether as a mentee or a mentor. It's a learning opportunity for both. And as a mentor, you've reached a position, or you've reached a milestone. I wouldn't say position, but you've reached a milestone. And as you've kind of covered certain aspects of the journey, it's kind of now you've been there and done that, so you know what are the roadblocks, how you would be able to solve it. And as you sign up for this role, there are people who are just joining in as mentees. They it becomes difficult for someone to search for anything, right? In today's world, everything is available, and it may not be required from the outset that you really need someone's help, but the reality is you don't know what to search, and that's where you need someone to tell you what to search. And when you sign up for a mentor or a mentee program, you as a mentor, you're basically helping people in finding their way and not spoon feeding anyone. That's the real job, right? So that's what I take whenever I have signed up as a mentee or as a mentor. The whole idea is to learn from that relationship, and it's for both, for mentor, for mentee, both. Get to know each other and then embrace the journey. Learn from every discussion that you have. That's what I wanted to add.
Thanks,
Sure.
Ravi. So Riaz.
Yeah, Shivan, I've been trying to jump in. Ravi and I can answer. What my thought primarily around mentorship and the whole relationship is that there's a lot of misconception sometimes around how a mentor is supposed to have substantially more experience in a particular field than you have, right? The idea of pursuing knowledge and essentially asking the right question is what triggers the whole discussion around wanting to be a mentor or a mentee. And I've come to believe over the last 15 odd years in my experience in the security industry that there is no gender, age, or any of the other physical attributes to what a mentor or mentee should be, essentially because I have learned from folks who are far younger than I am, right, as well as folks who are far older to me, right. And it goes without saying, Dumbledore did learn a bunch of things from Harry as well, right. The important bit is to convey and have that essential dialogue built between a mentor and a mentee about what is it that I want to learn, and identifying your trusted advisor, your your experienced champion who's going to give you the guidance that is required, right. The relationship is I would say it's there's a whole lot of information flowing both ways, right. And I'm kind of missing the word that I want to describe this relationship with, but the important piece is that which both Victor and Ravi added, the mentor learns from the mentee while the mentee also learns from the mentor. The information flows both ways, right. And I have come to do that with a lot of folks that I mentor also in the community, learning a bunch of new things every time I try framing a problem statement that they would want to go solve, right. While framing the problem, I have learned a bunch of things on my own way, right. So that's an important aspect, that there is no, you can't identify or box people or saying that this guy is a perfect mentor because he's got like some 50 years of experience in a particular industry. You might learn one or two things in while talking to somebody with far lesser experience.
Right. Completely agree with you, Riaz. And I really like the part where you say it is a flow. It is a flow between mentor and a mentee. because there is not only one person that is giving and one receiving. It has to be a comprehensive or hostile condition where everything is flowing between them, because one can learn from anyone, be it younger or older. And having said that, I would like to ask you, what do you think would be the good qualities of a mentor? Like, what do you think a mentor should be, how he should be like?
Couple of things that I have learned over a period of time, because I have my traits over the last decade also have changed considerably when I started understanding that a lot more folks are going to be talking to me, simply because of my experience in the particular field. Your ability to communicate, your ability to listen, right, and a certain level of patience, and reframing a problem statement that the mentee might have. Right. Sometimes if someone who wants to be mentored in, for example, cloud security or in web application security, and they approach me with a particular problem, the question that they ask, the counter questions that I ask them, is this what you want to do, or is this what you're finally going to get to, right? Those things itself trigger a discussion. Having a clear state of mind where, or rather having a clear problem statement that the mentee would like to get mentored out upon, right, that becomes the key for that, for that exchange, right? So clear communication, your ability to listen and change, or rather understand what is it that exactly is the mentee seeking out for, and that those traits is something that I would highlight.
Very rightly said. Victor, would you like to add from your end, what would be the good qualities that a mentor should possess?
Sure. Yeah. So for mentees, I would say bring your uniqueness. There is no one size fits all, to be honest with you. If I am a mentee, I would expect my mentor to embrace my uniqueness. Might be different skills, might be different talent, might be I'm stubborn, might be I'm a yes guy or no guy, or might be whatever I'm bringing on the table. I would expect my mentor to embrace my uniqueness. There is a whole journey of this mentorship program, right? We all have different fingerprints, and for a unique reason, because we want to be unique in our own way. Not everyone should be having a same trait, otherwise that would defeat the whole purpose of being a human being as a living person. So I would say mentees, bring your uniqueness, whatever that is, technical, non-technical, whatever those barriers that you think that you have, you may not have it, but bring your uniqueness. And as mentors, I would say, have patience to embrace them. We have a tendency to generalize things because it's templated way, because then I can reach mass audience or I can do more. Templated is a great way when you're trying to do mass. Mentorship is one program where you don't want to have templated way, you don't want to have generalized, you want to have uniqueness. If you can impact one person in your entire life, I think your journey is successful. You don't need to have 1,000 mentees. You don't need to have 1,000 followers who are literally just talking about you. You want to have that one person who becomes the president, who becomes someone who changes their social life. I think that's what my message is for mentees. Don't think that you need to learn, you need to change, you need to tweak something in your behavior. No, bring your uniqueness, and as mentors, we'll be patient and we'll try to help each other.
Very nice, Victor. Like, I completely resonate with you. If you make difference in one's life, even one person, it goes a long way, because life is a circle. What you give, eventually come back to you. So that's a very great point.
I'm shooting for that. Please come, bring my karma back.
Okay. So Ravi, would you like to add anything to what Victor said?
Sure. I mean, in terms of qualities or attributes of a mentor, there are a few things that I always suggest and I always strive for. Number one is curiosity. As a mentor, I need to be very curious, because from my point of view, it's more of a dialogue or a conversation between a mentor and a mentee. If a mentor is not curious about the mentee, doesn't get to know the mentee, then it becomes very difficult for the mentor to chart the plan, right? So it's very important to be curious as a mentor. and be open to learn from the mentee about the mentee. So that's one very important attribute. And the second attribute that I always kind of strive for is the yet mentality, the growth mindset, right? There is nothing called as failure, no matter what. It's always, if you start looking at it as yet, right? Not achieved it yet. The moment you start figuring out the ways to achieve whatever you've not achieved so far. And so these are the two very important aspects for a mentor to kind of have, which is basically they need to be curious, build that relationship, get it going, because unless you make that environment friendly, open, judgmental free, the mentees will not open up. And if they are not going to open up, they're not going to ask for help. Probably they'll come and just do a formality, sir, I need this solution, that solution, and that's the end of it. But if the relationship goes on, it kind of becomes a fruitful journey for everybody.
Shivani,
Right.
I'd like to add something here. Just a thought that came to my head, something Ravi said.
Sure.
I think I've also seen over the years, a mentor is supposed to be providing service to the mentee, right? But a lot of times I've seen mentors get into this whole thing about hero worship, right? Or essentially bringing in, ego or anything else in play, and kind of losing track of what they set out to do, right? And it has a negative impact because your mentees are not only learning about the topic where they want mentorship, but also they sometimes tend to it's very what you call, it's very fluid the way mentees also learn. They also tend to pick up certain attributes about you, right, while you're mentoring them. Like, it could simply be the way you write documentation, or the way you talk, the way I've had examples that I've seen where people change the way they even speak, right, simply because they've been associated with a particular mentor for several months and years, right? So that kind of, you need to be conscious that you are imparting not only the knowledge that the mentee has come to gain from you, but also some part of your personality as well, right? So you need to isolate your ego and hero worship that you would want to achieve from providing service to the mentee.
I
Right.
agree with
Right.
that.
So
I was going to add
yes,
one more
Victor.
thing to that.
Yes.
Because I completely agree with you. And to be honest, I think as a mentor, it comes to a point where we become know-it-all, where we want to become know-it-all. But I think it's very, very important to stay humble, and people don't follow, or your mentors won't follow you based on your theoretical life or what you think. If you have read something, be clear about it, that no, I have not applied in my life. I don't know how this conflict works, but this is what my understanding is. Become a friend instead of more of a holy goat, as Riaz was saying. It's very important to stay where you talk about your experiences. You really talk about what you can actually provide from your past experience, instead of becoming the guy who know it all and I'm the one telling you and you need to really dictate to this, otherwise I'm no longer going to mentor you. I think that's where the relationship is. It needs to be influenced by motivation from both sides. Both parties have to understand this is not something that one is winning over the other. It's just like parenthood. We literally have to lead by the example. Your kids are not going to do exactly what you're going to tell them. They're going to follow you. They're going to look at you, what you do, then they're going to try to do it. So
just to extend on that, I mean, through personal experience as well, as when I started very early in my career, and I thought at that point in time that I knew a lot of things about how the world works and in the field of security itself, I came across as an arrogant snob in the security industry, right? And I'm at this point in time, I'm physically, mentally aware of this, and we laugh it off with my friends and stuff. But back in the day, but this was about 7-8 years or so, I felt that the experience that I have at this point in time is enough to take over the world, right? And anybody who would want to approach me saying that, hey Riaz, can you mentor us with this particular type of security issue, whatever, right, they were trying to learn, I addressed them as inferiors, that they were approaching me with, a problem that they couldn't solve, right? Not that they wanted my personal experience and guidance and stuff. And so my instructions, my communication with them also was, hey, go do this, right? Or go figure out, why can't you do this? Why did you not Google this before coming here? That entire, I had to take mentorship, and without, exclusively calling it that, but I learned it from a bunch of folks that I work with, and personal and professional mentors in my life, that this is not how you would want to grow as a human, right? And be known, your legacy in the security industry would not be what you would not want to have this, right? That people know you for this, right? And over the last 8, and it's difficult as a human, you tend to fall into those traps where you see yourself as the know-it-all, and like, oh, this person has come to me, which means I know something more than him or her, right? So you need to be physically, mentally aware of this human attitude that you would bring in, right? And try to be one step ahead. It took me about 6 years to come out of it, and eventually be the whatever I am at this point in time.
I just wanted to add, just wanted to add on what Victor said, right? I mean, we tend to, we all are humans, and it's not that we know it all. And that's the reason why we have a community.
Absolutely.
And that's where the community plays the part, right? So I would encourage everybody who's registered as a mentor, right? So you guys need to have that community and openness, that if you are asked a question, probably you don't know the answer, reach out to the other mentors and see who can come in and help you solve that. So it's all partnership. You partner with your mentors and you partner with your mentee. And that's how the community fruitfully help each other, and the mentees get what they are looking for. It's not your responsibility to answer everything. It's your responsibility to get the answer for them. And while you're getting the answer, you handhold them. That's what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Shivani,
Thank you.
actually, I'll just say that this conversation is really, really amazing, because I've been feeling this from past few years, and especially this past year has taught me a lot. So I would just add a small point that for a mentee, just remember one thing: never ever. I think these three people are saying the same thing. Never idolize your mentor, because they're human beings. They have their ups, downs, good, bads. And whenever they are trying to mentor, that means they're trying to share their good part. And they are, even like, everyone is a mentee in their own journey, even a mentor. They're trying to make the things which are not on the positive side, they're trying to move that to the positive side. So never ever idolize your mentors, because if something doesn't go in the same direction where you think, okay, it should go in that direction, then you start feeling negative about that person.
Yeah, and I'll add to that something, Vandana. Instead of saying mentor and mentee as your boss or superior, like, mentors are not superior, they are your siblings. Treat them like such. Fight with them. Ask question. Challenge them. That's how you actually help mentor. That's really what mentor is looking out of that relationship, to have someone challenge, so that we will ask ourselves that the information I'm giving you, is it vetted? Is it legit? Is it right intel? So at the same time, as Vandana said, mentor won't know it all, and they will make mistakes, just like your siblings. If you have older or younger siblings, you would know. They want to tell you exactly what you should do. They'll fight with you, but at the same time, you challenge them left and right. That's exactly what you got to do it. So mentor and mentees are not superior or junior. It's literally the same level, but as a sibling. So
No, very rightly said. The challenger mentality actually, inculcates a lot of inquisitiveness in return. So, when you start asking why, and when you start asking questions, that's when the real collaboration happens. So mentor also knows, like, okay, I have a mentee who has like a lot of question, and I have to satisfy that. So mentor will also work on it and try to make sure that mentee is getting the most out of this program. So, like, my next thing would be, like, I think everything has been covered with all this discussion, that how can Mentee bring the most out of this program would be, I think, first, like, be receptive to feedback, because mentor, as Vanna said, is also human. They can also make mistakes. Don't idealize. And also mentee should know that there are other things more than being a mentor, that you can be friends, as said by all of you. So anything else you would want to add, like how can mentee make the most out of this, and what should a mentee be doing? I think we had a lot of discussion around it, but any final food for thought that you would want to add about this program, a
I can
message
go
for our
first.
mentors and mentees? Yeah.
Sure, I can go first. So as a mentee, again, I want to put myself in those shoes before I answer it. As a mentee, I would want my mentor to not tell me that you must have a list what you want to ask me. Don't put yourself in a box. This is one relationship, safe environment where feel it as you go. Don't put yourself in a box. Don't have a list. Don't have something ready where you must know what you need to ask. You must be prepared to be in a relationship as a mentorship. No. As a mentee, I won't know everything up front. That's the whole point of mentorship. That's the whole journey that I want someone to just be there for me when I have a question. I want someone to be there. I can call up, ring up, text, SMS, whatever. I don't know everything up front. So as a mentee, don't feel that you must know everything about your career, your learning, whatever. You are at a phase where you're going to try out so many things, as we all have done. And you're going to fail in certain things as well. That's quite all right. But what your mentor is going to help you to pick you up, dust it off, and run again. Whatever that is. And in other ways, again, I keep going back to parenting because I'm a new parent. Unconditional love, if you will. No matter what happens, no matter you don't know about technology, great, let's talk about it. You want to be a manager? Great, let's talk about my experiences as managing people. You hate coding? Perfect, me too. Let's talk about something else. There's so many areas. So don't put yourself in a box. Don't feel that you need to be influenced by the market or your peers, your, I don't know, people who got into certain companies and they're making so much money. You could do better. You are unique. Embrace yourself. You have talent, you have skills that you have not explored yet. And that's the whole reason this mentorship program will help you to just talk it out with a mentor who had been in the industry. Not that they know of it all. You're gonna probably beat them at one point in your life, but it's just like parenting. You'll be there. They'll tell you what they have learned, but eventually you'll be the one who'll be teaching your grandparents how to use your cell phone. Sorry for the parenting jokes. I know it's getting overwhelmed.
You're a new dad, so dad jokes are welcome. To extend to what Victor said, there's a I have a slightly parallel take on what Victor mentioned. The bit about, especially when you have some structure built around mentorship, that's what a program would do and create for you, right? Don't assume that, or rather, the mentor is not there to do your homework for you, right? I mean, to put it in a more or less crude way, the idea is that the mentor is there to provide you guidance, right? So if you have done some work in a particular on a particular problem statement and you're stuck somewhere, right, that's a good time to approach a mentor. If you don't know where to go next, right, or if you don't know how to start, right, all of those are valid scenarios where you could approach a mentor, right? The a quick thing for mentors themselves is that you were in that place at a certain point in time, right? So the no question is stupid attitude that you can convey to your mentee and everybody else, right, goes a long way in building and nurturing that relationship that you have with your mentees, right? The question that they ask could be seemingly stupid for you, but it could be the thing that blocks their entire thought process for the mentee. It could be the whole world at that point in time, right? So be empathy, show some empathy for that piece of conversation. And the other bit is ensuring that there is different folks, different mentors have different styles of mentoring, right? The way I mentor a lot of folks in the security community is to ensure that there is a lot of hands-on practice related work done, right? Very less theoretical topics that I discuss, but essentially if someone wants to learn something, I say, go, why don't you go start up a server, or why do you not go install this, right? Or simply create an account, log in, and go figure out from there. The whole essence of doing hands-on creates muscle memory, brings in experiences that you would have experienced or the technology would give you at that point in time, and also allows you to frame proper questions that you could then discuss with the mentor, right? So for me personally, doing stuff hands-on way is the primary way of learning. You learn, you fail, you learn, you fail, you experience something, you pass, right? So that's how I approach the folks I normally talk to in the cybersecurity industry.
Right. So let me share some of the viewpoints before we kind of wrap up, right? So we have kind of covered a lot of points about building the relationship and everything great. Now, with this, what comes is the next. What's next? Everybody signed up. You would help them get introduced. Now what? The next step would be, in my opinion, or what I follow. Number one is, yes, impromptu ad hoc meetings. You hit a problem, call your mentor, amazing. But as a mentor or as a mentee, both of you need to have that initiative to bring in a structure, to have a cadence set, that either of you have it back of your mind that I have a touch point, whether it is weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, quarterly, whatever. You need to have that cadence, because if you don't have that cadence, you don't have that need to get to that meeting. So you need to have that. So that's very important, and a best practice that I'm going to suggest to both the parties. So that's the next action from me. The other thing is, as a mentee, don't be afraid. As Victor also said, Riaz also said, don't be scared, right? We have been talking in English. I know we have international viewers as well, but डरने की कोई बात नहीं है. As a mentee, आपको कुछ नहीं आता, पूछ लो. Just ask. That is your role. Ask the question. Ask. You're in trouble, just ask for it. And it's for the mentors also. If you don't know the answer, ask. That's the way. That's the reason you have the community. So there is layers. Everybody's there to help each other, and that's how everybody grows. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for the wonderful points that you have brought up. So we have mentors and the viewers as well over here on the call, and I believe we have few questions in the chat I can see. Okay, so we have a question by Shireen. She says that I'm mentoring a young person through a social mobility charity here in UK at the moment, and using a structured program to cover skills and knowledge to help them get started. And this is the industry agnostic. But I love to encourage everyone into cyber, of course. Okay. Shireen, I'm really sorry that would you like to add anything? Should I?
No, sorry. It was more of a comment than a question. I think it
okay.
was sorry, just to share the love, right, for mentorship.
Okay.
Different ways of different ways of doing things. From like I feel like my cyber mentoring is a lot more ad hoc and bespoke. But I think there's things we can also do that's quite structured to help anyone to take the next step, especially anyone, if you're trying to help people through social mobility and things like that. Give them opportunities, show them opportunities. There's some different things to do, but this is a separate. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you, Shireen, for the lovely comment. My bad. I thought it was
I have
a
one
question
for Riaz.
No worries.
Okay. Who is Romansh?
Yes.
Hey,
Hi,
Romansh,
Riaz.
yes.
Okay.
Hey, Romansh, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? Yeah,
I'm
long
fine,
time
I'm
we are
fine.
meeting again.
Yeah.
So So the basic thing, like when I was very beginner, still I am a beginner. So
Everybody
I
is.
start, I start learning step by step things like attack by attack, attack by attack. But I was very distracted with bug bounties and rewards. So I was going into bug bounty rather than learning. So how to focus on learning rather than going to bug bounty, and when we saw something post regarding bug bounty, so we want to start, we waste some time, and then we come back, we again distract from the learning path, right? So
stay away from social media.
No, somehow it will come, you. So what do you suggest? I mean,
that's an end.
How to
Yeah,
keep
go on. Sorry. Go on. Sorry, Roman. Sorry, go on.
Okay. So how to keep the focus on just learning in the beginner stage, and then when we feel some confidence, then go into other stuff, whatever we want.
Okay. There's multiple aspects to this. There's part of human psychology also that will come into play. First of all, I mean, like your social media, the social media that we consume today, right? And the kind of people we follow on Twitter and LinkedIn and other places as well. A lot of them, I mean, like every morning when I see my LinkedIn, I see so many people publishing the car that they bought, the bike that they bought, or the computer that they bought because of bug bounty, right? Or and none of them disclosing what bug was submitted, right? And there's some level of me that cringes at all of this, right? But I understand that people require external validation, especially on a platform like LinkedIn or Twitter, and that's them. I think there's nothing wrong or right in doing that. That's how they think that is the right thing to do. The important thing is that you need to become self-aware at a certain point in time, that I need to prioritize learning, right? And not the other thing that I am distracted with. I am not saying bug bounty does not give you learning, right? Way back in 2012, I used to do bug bounty. I did it for a year, then I stopped. Right, I made a conference paper out of it. I went and spoke at Black Hat and a bunch of things, and then I stopped doing bug bounty because my focus of doing bug bounty at that point in time was, it was not a bug bounty approach that I took. I was doing some research on a particular set of vulnerabilities, and I ended up finding them in Facebook, Google, and a bunch of these places. So the money came as a result of that in 2012, and then once that research was over, I stopped doing the sending bug reports and stuff. I keep finding these things. Right, but the interesting thing is that I have now become, I've disassociated myself with the bug bounty part and just focusing on the actual underlying security issue or something that I'm going to discover. Right. So as a self-awareness bit, you need to be able to prioritize that, hey, I want to pursue knowledge. If it is through bug bounty, then so be it. If it is through means that will not give me enough money, then so be it. But at a psychological level, you need to accept that this is you are going to get distracted. Don't beat yourself about it. It's okay to be distracted, but as soon as you realize that you've been distracted, switch back. Make a mental choice to switch back to what you're doing.
Yeah, sounds good.
Riyaz, I know this question was directed to you. If you don't mind,
absolutely. Okay. Anyone.
It's a $1 trillion question, and I won't repeat the exact question, but the way I see this is more like on the time management. It's a $1 trillion question for all of us, how to do time management. We all get distracted. Romansh, it's not just you who get distracted with one thing. We all do. I think there's nothing wrong with bug bounty. It brings money. It's cool. No, at least when I was at my early stage, if someone told me that there's a certain process that you go find vulnerabilities and get paid, I would have done it. Too old for that now. But anyways,
yeah.
The point
I
is,
tried multiple times, but I never did get it. To be honest, I'm telling, I tried multiple times, but 2 days, 3 days, then that's it. Patience finish over.
Yeah. So I think instead of looking this as a specific what you have done as a task, reel back, step back a little bit, look at this holistically. What's going on here? It's just a matter of time management. So you can continue doing it. Don't get discouraged. Maybe one day you'll hit the jackpot. But what you can do is, as Riyaz said, instead of spending your entire time on one and focusing on 100% on one task, do a little bit of time management. Spend an hour or two every day, and spend an hour or two for learning. Spend an hour or two for hands-on. Do a little bit of time management. I'm not saying that someone has solved that problem. I still need to know people who have solved time management problem, because I am terrible when it comes to time management. I always get distracted. Priorities come on top of other priorities, and before I know it's weekend. So all I'm saying is, let's all be together, can participate in the conversation of time management instead of looking at this specific task where you spend time on bug bounty. Maybe others are spending time on some other priorities. I used to spend time on Call of Duty hours. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but then at one point I had to time management. Okay, you know what? I can only play 30 minutes a day, and that's about it. So instead of looking this as a specific item, what you did, and nothing wrong with it, do a little bit of time management. If you want to continue playing that part where you don't get discouraged looking at your friend's feed that they have gotten bug bounty and you're not doing anything about it, feed your curiosity by doing something about it, but not spending all of your time. That's what I would do. Again, not the perfect answer you were looking for.
Yeah, sounds good.
Thank you, Victor. Thank you, Riaz, for the answer. So I would like to introduce Sarba here. She's our amazing team member of the mentoring program. And she would be taking up the questions from the mentors in the chat and also telling us about this wonderful program to our mentees who are watching us live and to the mentors here. Sarba, I hand over the stage to you.
Thank you so much, Shivani. And it's an absolute pleasure here to meet all our esteemed speakers and panelists, and also our esteemed mentors and dear mentees. So again, on behalf of the mentoring team, we welcome you all. And maybe I'll just start with a small introduction about what is going to be the structure of the program, because I think all our panelists spoke about the need of, having a structure for the mentoring program, but, not going into those nitty-gritties to Ravi's point, I think, which was really excellent. Now, this is going to be a 6 weeks program, and each week we have actually come up with a structure, but this is like, you can treat it like a clay model where you can build it according to the needs. So the mentor and mentees are free to, customize this structure into something that best fits their needs. So the first week is going to be focused around schedule setup and goal setting, where the mentor and mentee, they can decide on how they are going to proceed, what are the goals that they want to achieve, because this is again going to be a 6 weeks program. And while we encourage the mentor and mentee to have a lifelong relationship after that, but we want to also have a little bit of rigor around this program, so that by the end of it, there are some tangible results that benefit both the mentor and mentee. We are going to also, the focus area of week 2 would be on personal branding, because that's something I think which mostly we don't get it in any blog or any textbook. So this is something that the mentor and mentee can learn from each other, followed by, I think, we want to also encourage our mentees to become, thought leaders who can speak about their mind, about their knowledge in information security. So the third week is going to be the focus on importance of soft skills, and also encouraging them to give their first talk in LinkedIn or any other forum. Then it's the next week will be focusing on networking. I think that's something which is important, because the more you learn, the more you meet people, the more you grow as a person and a professional. And then for all those of our mentees who are looking for a job or something, we want to focus the next week on applying for interviews, where we encourage our mentors to guide them through this process. And the last week would be on reflection, on just, thinking about how both of them can just support each other, what is the journey forward. So this is like a brief outline of these the 6 weeks program, and this is all set up in the Menternity platform. So we encourage you to go there, sign up, just look through the content of these 6 pages, decide on setting up these meetings with each other. So this is a brief overview about the program. And while this is focused on InfoSec, but the goal of this program is a holistic development of the mentor as well as the mentee. So that's a thing. And I think we had an important question from Rachna Kamath, who's our mentor, and she wanted to ask if you have one piece of advice for first-time mentors. So if our guests could take a moment and just give one piece of advice for first-time mentors.
Sure. I think I already spoke about that you're not alone. When you're signing up as a mentor, you always have this thought that, I mean, I've signed up, I got selected, do I deserve it? So that kind of thought, just throw it out of the window. We all are humans. And this is a big community. There are many people who are going to be mentors. There are many mentees. There are kind of leaders around here who can support each other. So that's a very important aspect, that be comfortable in knowing that you don't know everything. So that's what I wanted to say.
Awesome, Ravi. Loved your point. Victor or Riaz, anyone?
Yeah, I can go next.
Yeah, go.
So I think as a first-time mentor, I would say we all are first time. As I said, embrace the uniqueness, right? So who to say, even if someone had mentored 1,500 mentees so far, that's a large number, by the way, but it doesn't matter. Every time you meet a new person, they are a new person. They bring the unique skills, talent, new challenges, new stubbornness, new patience. So we all are first-time mentors in any given time. So you, and along with all others, as Ravi said, at the same level. It doesn't matter your first time. Maybe you're feeling that experience is first time, but that's the same experience, same feeling. You're gonna feel it every time you're gonna mentee someone. So again, to Ravi's point, you're not alone. If you want to bounce off ideas, feel free to shoot among us. And otherwise, it's going to be the same experience, but eventually you'll get a hang of it, where embracing the idea that you are, when you talk to a new mentee, it's going to be unique every time.
Awesome point, Victor. Yeah. Riaz.
I'll kind of close that with see, when you're signing up as a first-time mentor, and every one of us, regardless of how many people we've mentored in our life, for something or the other, we are going to be first-time mentors for that particular experience that we're sharing with the mentee. It's important to realize and understand that you don't have to know everything. There might be something that the mentee will ask. You do not have to feel small. You do not have to feel undeserved. You do not have to feel what stupid question. You do not have to, bring in those emotions, right? Detach yourself from how you emotionally feel about what's happening between you and the mentee. Focus on providing guidance and assistance in the best way you can, right? And as Ravi and Victor, both of them kind of touched upon the whole community being available to you. If you begin with saying that, hey, I don't know this, let me go figure out somebody else who can help you with this, or maybe give me some time, let me learn and come back and teach you using my experience as well. Both of those approaches work, but communicating that to the mentee is important. Otherwise, you create a disconnect. The mentee is expecting you to guide, and then you're not able to provide guidance, or in your way, because you want to hide that you do not know a particular thing, you're providing the wrong guidance, right? So that's worse. So you might want to essentially focus on it's okay that even if you don't know something, it does not mean that you can't provide mentorship. A lot of mentorship simply comes from the experience in that particular, not the years of experience you've had, the experience in that particular thing that you're sharing with the mentee, right? So that's a bit of advice.
That's excellent point. Yeah, Victor.
Sarva, I was just going to say one thing. One way or the other, we all have mentored. We just don't know it. Again,
Yes.
Do you have a best friend? Then you have mentored. You have a sibling? You have mentored. You have parents? You have mentored them, actually. We all have taught something to our parents one way or the other, because we think we know better than them, especially when it comes to technology. If not, I've been rebellious, but again, we all have been mentored. So no one is first-time mentor. Over the years of life, we have been mentored to our friends, best friends at school, at colleges, universities, doesn't matter. We all have done that. It's just now you're coming into a little bit of a structured program, and you feel that you're going to be asked a question that you're not going to know. which is fine. To Ravi's and Ria's points, you don't need to know all of it. You don't need to have all the answers. All you need to have that patience to provide the comfort, and ask your mentee that, hey, how would you solve it? Ask, if they are asking you a question, ask them, how would you solve it? Be open about it. Be honest about it, that you don't know, but how would you do it? Learn from them as well. I think that's the biggest learning message that we can get as a mentor, that we don't need to know all, but at the same time, we can figure it out together between mentor and mentee. And again, don't feel that it's a supervisor or superior or junior relationship. It's literally at the same level as a sibling. So
what an excellent point, Victor. I mean, thank you so much for your valuable thoughts, all our esteemed panelists. I think one question which most of the mentors today are asking, and that is, I think, for the mentoring team, is that, is there a platform where all the mentors can connect with each other? I think that's an excellent point. And probably, I think the mentoring team will discuss this, and we'll see if we can set up a Slack channel or something where the mentors can connect with each other, and we'll get back to all our mentors soon. So please wait for an update from us. And I think we have an interesting question from one of our mentees or viewers in the YouTube live session. They say that they are a verification engineer, and they want to switch to a job, to a role in information security. Do our panelists have maybe one point on what should a person do if they want to start from scratch in information security? Maybe one important step.
I could take this one. I get this question a lot, and my answer to that is, you are a security engineer or you are in information security already. Doesn't matter which field or doesn't matter what you have done. We in security always think that it's something you need to learn unique or new. It's just the mindset. Tools and technologies are always going to change. What I learned 20 years ago, it's not the same today. I don't use the same tool technology. It's completely different. It's just a mindset. So whosoever you are, whatever field you have, whatever studies you have, you just need to bring the mindset, and you are security. I'll give you a simple analogy and then I'll shut up. When you buy a house, you never ask your realtor, does it have windows or doors? You never ask it. It's the same mindset. When you study, when you learn as a human being, you're in the industry already. You have security mindset. It's the same analogy if you can embrace it.
Amazing, Victor. Anything to add, Riaz?
Let me see. Victor kind of touched on the primary thing, but essentially, don't look at information security as it's a lot of there's a lot of what's the word, glamorous, right? So the whole idea behind information security is that it is a far more glamorous career than anything else. Yeah. Right? And hackers are these cool people with like long hair, ponytail that people are trying to set up. And it's not. It's a way. It's absolutely just another field in the larger scheme of things, right? In how the world functions and stuff. If you are looking to get started with information security as a career, regardless of where, I have folks who come from civil engineering, and I know somebody who has a PhD in psychology, right? And they've moved to information security. It's never too late. The essential idea is that there are certain building blocks for information security that most of us are already aware of. Either we've touched them in school or college, or over the course of time, simply while configuring your home router, for example, you might have come across this, right? So looking at those building blocks, things around how simple networks are set up, or how how different computers communicate with each other, how websites work, how DNS works. There are these simple building blocks that can get you started with information security, right? The breaking of those things comes later. Understanding how those things are built and set up, so that you can then find if your idea is to get into offensive information security, and understanding how those things can be broken is the next step after that. But there are certain building blocks that exist in information security. If you can get started with those, or practice and rehash and relearn those things, then that's a good way to enter. And there's a lot of curriculum available. There's tons of. We didn't have all of this when we were growing up. There was no YouTube, there was no free courses, there was no Coursera, there was no bunch of these things that are available right now, right? Access to a Zoom platform where you could talk to mentors, WhatsApp to ask questions. None of this was available. We had to take books from the library, and one book had to be shared between like 6, 7, 8 people, right? So we are living in a very different world. Take complete advantage of this, right? Take complete advantage of the access to internet that you have, the access to people that you have, or Twitter, social media, whatever it is. Post questions, doesn't matter who they are, right? If you have a question, post. Somebody who's follower for them, they might answer the question. Your end goal is to get your question answered, right? It's not about this particular person wanting getting your answer out there, right? But get started, do hands-on, right? That's I would say. Once you start doing more hands-on, you'll realize that, oh, I'm missing this, let me go read up, and then do more hands-on, and then you build your information security career from there.
Such an excellent point, Riyaz. I mean, loved your perspective, and it's just so honest and straight from heart. I think there's a last question that I would like to address.
Sharma, I just wanted to
Ravi
kind of
Ravi.
add onto it, right? I mean, I didn't really catch the name of the person who asked this question, but you told me that he or she is a verification engineer already and want to switch, right?
Yes.
So when you switch from an existing path that you're on, at first it may look flashy, as Riyaz was saying, that it's pretty cool and all that. As you hit the first hurdle, you'll realize that ye kya kar raha hu main? So that is when you have to really figure out, before you take that first step, which you've already done, is reached out to this community and asked the question, is to really know why you want to make this change. And if you have found that, or if you're in the process of finding it, write it in big bold letters and post it wherever you can see it every day, right? That is going to keep your mindset right there, because it's going to be, I'm not scaring you, but as you change your path, you'll have to learn technology a little bit, some coding, some networking. And as you learn all of that, it may or may not be difficult for you. But if it becomes difficult, you just rotate your head, look at the poster, and you know why you wanted to do this, and you will continue doing it. So that's my suggestion. So first, understand why you make this movement, find your why, and just go and do it.
I also want to add something actually from my experience.
Sure.
So I remember when I was in my engineering third year, BTech third year, and I was very beginner, to be honest. I don't know the difference between cybersecurity and information security. So I used to talk like, okay, I will go in this and I will make my career in cybersecurity. So one of my classmates, directly in front of my mouth, he say that no, it is not for this time. I mean, it is for the kids. Like, if suppose you started from doing this stuff from the kids, then you can get a career in this. Now time gone, you cannot go. So but I didn't give up. I started learning, and when I came to in Null, then I started giving my talk on newsfeed. Hope you remember about the newsfeed. So the first day I was in Null, Mumbai, and I was very, very nervous in Null. So I give a newsfeed. It was like I learn all these news, and I go on the stage. I started speaking. It is not coming from my brain. It is like मैंने सब कुछ रट लिया था और फिर जाके बोल दिया वहां पे. फिर again I slowly started. Very nervous sometimes, but people support me too much. I mean, never, no one discouraged in the Null Mumbai. Then even when I came to Bangalore, so I talked to Riyaz. Okay, Riyaz, I mail him. I want to give a session on Linux privilege escalation, and I know very few things. And I was thinking, okay, I will go, and whatever I know, I will give. And so I make PPT, I start solving machine, and I stuck many times. In the live session, I stuck multiple times. So Riyaz support me, okay. Even in the beginning, Riyaz was telling people, okay, ask question. So I asked Riyaz, can you please come? So I tell Riyaz, I mean, I am not prepared like this, and I will go slow. He said, okay, fine, no problem. Then he support me too much. And in the evening, when I finished the session, it was little confidence as well, little disappointment with myself as well, but still I finished it. I mean, I did it. the session, and slowly, then I started. Now I'm giving talk in conference. I mean, some of the international conference, they accept my talk. I have given in B-side Buddhapet, B-side different B-side conference. Now I feel the confidence that when I remember those days, then I still feel the same. But the thing is, like, the journey, where you start, and like you didn't give up. Okay, you started one by one, step by step, and when you look at back, then you feel okay, fine, it's happened, it's a part of journey. That's it. So Riaz remember everything.
Romansh, your story is so incredible and so inspiring. Like all of us have in the information security or cybersecurity space, we all have our individual journeys through the disappointments and happiness and joys. But it's so inspiring of you to come here and share your honest story, and we just loved it. It was great. And to Ravi's point, I think I love this idea that thoughts become things, right? So the more we emphasize our interest on the thoughts that we want to manifest, the more they actually become reality. So I think we had a great discussion. And the last question that I would like to address is that there was a question on whether we are following a curriculum for this mentorship program. So we are following a structure which is based on both technical and as well as soft skill development of the mentee, but there's no like specific curriculum that we are following for now. But as we evolve this program, that's something that we will also consider. So I hope this answers everyone's question. And with this, I think I would like to pass on the baton to the person who's a very inspiring leader for all of us, Vandana. If you can take a moment and just share your thoughts about this program, it would be great.
Sure, Sarva. Thank you so much. I would like to say first, thanks to all the wonderful speakers, Ravi, Riaz, Victor. Thank you so much for joining us today. It was such a pleasure to have you all here. And also to add on, like, the insights that were shared were incredible. Like, it helped me as well. Even being in the industry for just tiny years, I've learned few things, but today learning from all of you was incredible. And huge shout out to Sarva, Shivani, and Arushi. Not to miss them, to bring this all together, to stitch this all together, and to do all the wonderful work behind the scenes which these wonderful ladies have done on the spotlight. Huge shout out and kudos to all the mentors and mentees for joining the effort. We will try to be as smooth as possible. These three ladies are trying to do everything possible to make it all happen. So if you have any questions, you know where to reach them. You know the mailing list where you can just reach out. We'll make sure within a day we'll try and respond to you. And there is a platform which has been shared with all of you where you can meet up. And meanwhile, we're trying to work on a platform where we all as mentors and mentees can connect. So probably we'll try to be on a Slack or a Discord, and we will share those details with you within 24 hours. That's what we can say. And yeah, thank you so much for joining today. It was wonderful to have all three of you here joining us, sharing the efforts and information on the launch. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Vandana.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Vandana.
Maybe can we have a
Thank you.
last
Thank you very
picture
much.
with everyone on camera, if possible, because it's a momentous day. So if the mentors also can come on camera, maybe for a minute, whoever is comfortable, please. And Vandana, if you can do the honors of clicking the picture, you're really good at that.
Vandana, not your selfie, just FYI.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you very much. It was insightful.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.